If you're 13 to 18 years old, you need to hear this. Do not let trying to be like everyone else triumph over who you really are. You see, when you're in those teenage years, 13 to 18, it's a time of when you're figuring out your identity. And during that time, that is when the desire to be like everyone else will be the strongest. It's because as a person, you don't really know who you are yet. So you look to everyone else to see who you could be. And this is why the desire to try be like everyone else, to try and fit in, is just so strong. But sometimes it's not the right thing to do, especially if the people you want to fit in with are people not meant for you. So when I was in high school, I wanted to fit in really badly. I've always thought differently. I've always wanted to do things kind of my own way. And that just made me very different to a lot of people in high school, to like the majority of my classmates. Everyone was all focused on social media and like social status on social media. And that just wasn't really something I was into. You know, I liked actually trying to work hard, not getting into all this other bullshit, all this drama. But that's the one thing that everyone else was focused on. I kind of felt like I was left out of it all because I wasn't involved. Everyone knows what you need to do to get social status in high school. It's either you need to be the one with the biggest friend group, talking with the most people, talking with the most girls if you're a guy, going to all these parties, alcohol, vaping. Those were the cool stuff to do. Most of those things I didn't have and I didn't want to do either. That made me feel left out. That made me just different from the rest. But because that's what everyone was doing, I naturally had the desire to fit in. I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to be seen as that weird kid who didn't do any of the stuff, who didn't hang out with cool people, or who didn't go to parties and all that stuff. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be like everyone else because I thought that's what would make me confident. That's what would make me happy. During my high school years, I remember in about year 9, I ended up joining one of the popular groups that I wanted to be seen with that had high social status. I ended up looking like I fit in with the rest of the people, and I thought that's what would make me happy. That's what would give me confidence. That's what would raise my self-esteem because I was finally just like everyone else. I was finally seen to just be like everyone else. I finally wasn't that weird kid, that outcast. I was finally in one of those groups where I thought to myself, like, people are actually going to notice me now. And being part of that group, just their values, their ideals, the things they did were so far off from who I truly was. I wasn't like any of them at all. They like all skipped class and like went to parties and like drank, all this shit that I didn't want to do. I'm not trying to talk shit about anyone. I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. They had their own experiences, they had their own lives, they're doing their own things. The whole point of this is this was my fault because I was too obsessed with just trying to fit in with people who I didn't want to actually fit in with. That I was only trying to fit in with just for that status, just for that external validation. By doing that, I just ended up feeling worse about myself. Because even though now I was seen as fitting in, I was seen as part of one of the cool groups, on the inside, I didn't feel like myself. And that whole feeling just felt terrible, so much worse. So, you know, at least when I wasn't part of this group, at least I felt like I was an outcast, but on the inside I still felt like myself. Now I didn't feel like an outcast, but on the inside I didn't feel like myself anymore. And that was just so much worse, so much worse. That was like 10 times, 100 times worse. And this is what you gotta realize when you're a teenager. This is something that I wish someone had told me back when I was in that situation. But like, I didn't know who I wanted to be. I knew I wasn't authentic because I wasn't, you know, being me. I couldn't be myself around these people because they wouldn't have liked that. And then I thought, you know, like, what do I do? Like, how can I ever feel good about myself? How can I ever feel confident if, like, no matter what, it's either I'm just gonna be an outcast and I'm not gonna fit in with anyone, or I'm just gonna continue fitting in, but on the inside I'm just gonna feel like shit. So in year 12, I chose the former. I chose to be an outcast, but at least on the inside, do what I really wanted to do. I chose to not hang out with anyone. I chose to hang out alone. I just chose to sit alone, do my study, do what I actually wanted to do at school, not worry about all these social groups or like who I hang out with. I decided to not let any of that shit matter to me anymore. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And doing that just brought all my confidence back. That brought all my self-esteem back. That just seriously made me feel good about being myself again and going to school. Like something about just being able to leave it all behind, just being able to just trust yourself, do what you want to do, just truly be you. That just solved all the problems I had about self-esteem, confidence, trying to fit in. I just realized it fucking didn't matter anymore. I didn't give a shit anymore. I just wanted to feel good about myself on the inside. And the only way you are able to get that is if you just act that out. Act that out. Don't care what anyone else thinks. Just do it. When you are a teenager, when you are in that age bracket of 13 to 18 years old, or 19, I'm 19 right now. But if you are in that age bracket, the desire to fit in and be like everyone else will be so strong. You cannot let that triumph over who you really are. And you know, if you do that, if you stay who you really are, in the short term, you're going to be seen as that outcast, that weird kid. But in the long term, it means your foundation, your self-esteem, your inner confidence will be stronger than anyone else's. You'll have unbreakable confidence and self-esteem if you keep it up. In the long run, you will win. When I decided to stop fitting in high school and started hanging out alone, I ended up finding some more friends that I didn't have to worry about status with, that I just wanted to connect with because I could truly connect with them. And I became friends with these guys like halfway through of year 12. And now that we've all graduated, I'm still really close with all of them. And I can tell you, if I didn't do that, if I decided to stay with these groups that I couldn't truly fit in with, I would have not had any friends after high school. I would have not stayed in contact with them. Like, I know that. Like, no matter how much I bullshitted myself back then, thinking like, oh yeah, these people are my friends, I'll definitely stay with them. Like, no, I wouldn't have. They would have cut me off, or I would have cut them off. There's no way I would have stayed friends with them. But in this new group I found in high school, we connected so deeply that I'm still friends with basically all of them right now, even 6 months out of high school. Choose to build relationships that can last in the long term. You can only do that in your teens if you continue to be yourself, if you choose to authentically be yourself. You might not have the most friends, but the people you do find you'll have the strongest connection to. I guarantee that. And it will be the most beneficial relationships you can ever make in your life. And just think about it right now. Don't you want that more than just trying to fit in right now? Don't you want a long-term friendship or relationship that will truly benefit your life in the long run? Just think about that.